Hello everyone, just a quick word from your friendly editor/husband. For all of you who listen to So I'm Watching This Show and own an Android device, do me a favor. Go to the Google Play Store and download the Podcast Republic app. It's a fantastic app that allows you to get all of your favorite podcasts directly on your Android devices. I use the app and love it. I can search for the podcasts I want to listen to, select them as favorites, and have them all just a click away. Make sure you set So I'm Watching the Show as a favorite so you don't miss any new episodes. Again, the app is Podcast Republic, available on your Android device. Thanks!
I don't know what you've seen or heard at this point because our schedule's kind of all over the place.
We're in a bit of a pickle.
I don't know what is being released when.
Yeah.
But we are currently doing video. We've been threatening it for 2.5 seasons, 2.5 years. And we should start doing the off-season thing that they do just to make it sound better. We're in season 4.4B. Do you know what I mean?
If anything, we're in 3A, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Or no, 3B.
3B because it's the end of the year?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
Regardless. So I don't know what you're listening to when you hear this, but we are currently doing video and we are in our own office with our own shit. And there's soundproofing on the walls and it's just great.
It's pretty good.
But
we've posted a couple pictures. There might be clips out already because we recorded.
Again, we don't know.
We recorded Mulan, so Mulan will definitely come out before this.
So yeah, but hopefully soon. Please do enjoy.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your twice weekly pop culture podcast where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. And as always, this is a spoiler show. However, on this episode, we are going quasi-episodic, so we'll give you a hard spoiler line. But
certainly for the very ending.
On today's show, we are talking about season 2 of The Boys. And I guess we're probably going to do it a little bit different because
fucking Amazon.
Yeah, right. Amazon. I was about to say Hulu. Amazon has decided to go ahead and release it weekly. Okay, here's the thing. I don't hate the weekly.
I don't hate it, but
I don't hate it.
But season 1 was all at once. Mm-hmm. You can't have it both ways. You have to pick a way.
The reason why I don't hate weekly is because they've done studies. It's been proven that you retain the information more. Because I would be hard pressed to tell you what happened in season 1.
Yeah, a lot happened in season 1.
I remember something about fingering the gills, and that's about it.
Oh yeah,
remember
I forgot that part. I forgot that part.
That's the only thing that stuck for me.
Yeah, I forgot that part. That is good.
I kind of wanted to go back and listen to our own episode to try and remember, because that's what I've done.
Yeah.
But
well, you've got time because this is only an intro right this second.
This is only an intro right this second. But so the first 3 episodes are available and we are going to watch and then record our coverage for those. And then because they're releasing it weekly, I think we're going to put the rest of our coverage on the Patreon.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow our coverage for The Boys.
Yeah.
And
patreon.com/so I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And potentially Raised by Wolves, because we think we're going to cover that too.
Potentially. We are weird sort of closet Travis Fimmel stands in the way that we're not.
Closet?
Well, we're very upfront about how we feel about him physically. We might be closet
how we
Travis
felt about him physically in 2002.
Yeah, we might be closet Travis Fimmel acting stands.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to attempt to watch the first episode of The Boys.
Yeah.
The other elephant in the room is that the 3 of us are hammered. I'm
mostly fine.
One of us more so. 2 of us more so than well, regardless.
So our producer / tech husband / editor
in the yard
is quite drunk, drunker than I've seen him in 10 years at least. And so we are doing this sort of on the seat of our pants.
I like to have some stuff already ready to go.
Something in the can.
Yeah, there you go. So there's pizza and then more booze waiting for us, as well as the first episode of season 2 of The Boys. And
so I had 2 gins and now I've switched to wine, and you guys had many gins and are still drinking gin.
I'm on my third wish. So we'll see what sticks, and we'll see when it sticks and when we get to it. But so yeah, can you remember? Didn't Homelander have a kid?
No. What's his name? Billy Butcher had a kid.
Oh, I thought Homelander had a kid.
Carl Urban had a kid.
Yeah.
We were pretty sure that Elizabeth Shue's baby belonged to Homelander. But the reveal at the very end of season 1, spoiler alert, was that Billy Butcher's wife wasn't actually dead. And he was like trying to get revenge on all the supes because he thought they killed his wife and baby.
And Homelander had a kid, and it was hers.
No, that was Billy Butcher's kid. He brought him there to show him that she wasn't dead.
I thought it was... Okay.
But we were all like, that kid that Elizabeth Shue has to be Homelander's. That's where we landed.
Okay, well, we will get to it and then get back to you.
Definitely.
Okay, so I was going to be like, I really wish that we had recorded an intro because I wanted to talk about it before we started watching it.
We definitely did.
Well, when I pulled up my garage van, I was like, oh, yeah, we did.
So I guess quick caveat before we get into it. You and Will got super shit hammered yesterday, and I was apparently the only adult in the house.
I was fine.
So fine you don't remember sitting down for like 10 minutes.
I do now that I like when presented with the evidence of it, I could remember. But my like going through the motions, I was like, damn, we forgot to do that thing. And I was like, no, we didn't.
Nope.
So I don't remember what we talked about. So I'm going to apologize.
So I do have to tell you that you were super right and I was super wrong about the baby.
What about the baby?
Because you were like, Homelander has a baby. And I was like, no, it's Butcher's baby. I was like convinced it was Butcher's baby, and it's definitely not Butcher's baby. It's Homelander's baby. like 100%.
Maybe I just need to be plastered all the time, and then I'll always be right.
Just super shit face is the only way you can be right.
So, oh my God, this show is really good.
It's good, and it's also just fucking crazy.
I think this is going to be one of those instances where it's like there was like a good season 1 and then like in season 2 you're like, now we're doing it.
Now we're cooking.
We're only one episode in, but I was like enraptured, and I was just like watching it like and it made me ill, physically nauseous like twice.
A couple of times. 3 or 4, I want to say. First of all, they weren't shy right out of the gate, slitting people's throats, like 14 people's throats. We
got to see Black Noir in action, which Will's been waiting for that.
Which was like pretty good. And then he also, King Kong style, ripped the jaws of a person apart.
Right.
There was the chopping off of the arm in the hotel room. There was...
That turned my stuff. The implications of that.
Horrible.
It was like, if I weren't so invested in it, I would have been like, I can't watch this show. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I don't know why this is it, but this is it. And then there was a head explosion, which I am devastated by.
Okay, so that entire scene, this is so on brand for us to be like, okay, so Jennifer Esposito. I had kind of forgotten she was on this.
Me too.
And so when she popped back up, I was like, I love Jennifer Esposito. Yeah. And I was like, I'm so glad that we live in a world where Jennifer Esposito is gainfully employed.
Yeah, not so much anymore, it seems like.
I had a weird feeling before her nose started bleeding. I was like, she's acting weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I have to say, I know that it'll be useful within the story, whatever has happened. I know that it'll be good and on purpose, but like I am devastated that we are not going to have her on this show anymore. I'm so sad, especially because it's not like there's a lack of interesting female characters, but she was like an interesting female human character who like isn't involved in the actual stuff.
The deputy director of the CIA?
She was high up. I don't know how high up. I didn't know she was that high.
Yeah, I thought they said that. I thought that Huey referred to her as that.
Maybe.
And I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing, because it's like I'm a little bit torn because part of me doesn't understand what's going on because I don't remember how season 1 ended exactly. Like, I remember the emotional endings, like emotionally where we ended, but I don't remember factually where we ended. But then the other part of me doesn't understand what's going on because we're not supposed to.
Exactly.
And so the Compound V was making the superheroes.
Yes.
And Homelander let it out.
So he basically was mad that they weren't allowed in the army, like in the military. And so he released it to like America's enemies so that America would have to let them in the military so that they could fight against the other supers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, oh shit, what's his name? Giancarlo.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito?
There you go, Giancarlo. I was like, I love him. I've seen him in many things, but I like forgot.
I think his name is Edgar in this.
So he's the boss.
Yes.
We didn't meet him last season.
No, we never met him. I think Elizabeth Shue said his name a couple of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that scene at the end, fucking okay. Anthony Starr is
my God.
so good.
So good. Here's the thing. Here is the thing. And this is, I'm not going to go on like a huge rant about it, but like this type of performance by this type of man being this type of character is the reason that I get so mad at like the Emmys for not recognizing genre shows.
It won't be.
But there's literally no excuse why he can't be nominated for an Emmy. He is like doing god tier acting. It's wild.
So good. And it's the kind of thing that I think people, it's like when it's like good editing or like good like script supervisor. It's like if it's good, you can't tell. Like I think
100%.
people think that this isn't acting. And he's so good. He's so captivating, mesmerizing. And that is another thing, because it's like there are certainly kind of different levels of acting, of talent happening on this show, but no one is outclassing anybody, really. I don't think, at least.
I agree. I was gonna say part of me felt a little bit like he and Elizabeth Shue were outclassing everyone else in season 1, but I think that was only a mark of the story that they were a part of.
And Erin was really, really good in this episode.
Oh my God.
The scene with Gecko, I was like, man, she's actually really good.
Really, really
role.
good. And the thing is like, I thought she was really, really excellent in that she had like a 3-episode arc on Jessica Jones in season 1. And so like when she got to do this, I remember in episode 1, I was like, man, I'd love her to get something where she's not sexually violated in like the first moment that you see her. But the way that she's come into this character and like what she's doing with her and like how she's operating around the like rules that she has to operate within, but while also still trying to do the things that she thinks are right and still punishing Huey for lying to her, but like still wanting to be involved with him. And it's just like,
because I'm also super invested in them in a way that I did not think I was going to be.
Yeah, no, I think part of it is that Jack Quaid is a very appealing leading man in a way that also on first glance, you don't think he's going to be, but he is like, just like his dad, I guess.
I think it's a boy next door thing.
Yeah.
Where you don't realize like he's very reliable and you can count on him. And then suddenly you're like, well, wait a minute. I never noticed this before.
Yeah,
you know, like
definitely.
So much happened.
So
in this
much
episode.
happened.
Okay. The funeral for Translucent.
I couldn't stop laughing.
It was so funny.
So funny.
It was so funny. I was just sort of like, it's a kind of funny that it's like too funny, because it was like so funny that I couldn't laugh. You know what I mean?
Almost, yeah.
Like, I just kind of kept being like,
So it was like so funny that you couldn't laugh almost because it felt real.
It's too real.
It felt like how they would actually have that funeral. Exactly.
And if it weren't as fun, I couldn't watch this.
Of course not.
It's almost too close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Especially it's like the moment in the bar with Chase Crawford when he just is like getting shit-faced and like railing because he can see his shoulder in a photograph that the news is using. And the bartender finally goes, that's it, you're cut off. And if you don't leave, I'm calling TMZ. It's like too much. That's too real.
So when Eagle or whatever saved him, and I was like getting two vibes. I was like, this is either going to be gay or a cult. Possibly both. We'll find out.
It was like the Maria Bamford where she's like, I've heard your tricks before. Because I was thinking church the whole time. I was like, this is too much eye contact.
When she said therapy can be destructive, I gasped.
Yeah.
Alone in my home, I covered my own mouth because I was like, the call's coming from inside the house. I was like, go.
You have to leave.
Oh my God. So that was one of the times I gasped. One of the times that actually like churned my stomach was when Homelander deafened that guy.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was horrible.
Chilled me. And what's her name?
Oh God, I don't know. She was on Jessica Jones too, though.
Yeah, she played a thankless character on Jessica Jones that
her name's Ashley
completely
on
got rid
this.
of after one season. And it's like you don't put in the work on a character that awful that you are so clearly going to redeem and then just drop her.
Yeah. So her name is Ashley on this, and her real name is Colby Minifie.
Yeah, Colby Minifie. She's so funny.
She's so good.
I am terrified for her.
Yeah.
Because we could lose her at any moment.
So that's the thing is like, she has basically assumed the Elizabeth Shue role in a sense.
And she's in over her head.
Way over her head. Way over her head. When we met Stormfront, who is played by Aya Cash, who I am in love with because she was on this really, really good show on FX called You're the Worst.
Okay.
She's hilarious and amazing. And so when that whole situation happened,
that intro too was just
yeah. And Ashley looked so terrified because he had just told her that she can't make appointments or whatever, like Elizabeth Shue did. I was like, he's going to just kill her on this like commercial shoot right now. He's going to just like blast her brain out. And he didn't, because he's seems smarter than to do something like that where he could get caught. But I agree with you. If she makes it through the end of the season, I'll be a little surprised.
I feel like she's on the verge of entering Finn from the Magician's territory for me.
Oh, like, she could get there.
She could be one of those like background characters that suddenly becomes so pivotal.
She also was wearing these amazing yellow pumps that I wanted to just mention because they were excellent.
Like I said, I really liked season 1. I think it was on my year-end list, but it's like we're just actually taking advantage of all of the work we did last season.
Yeah.
And like the world building and stuff. Like it's like it feels so rich and inhabited and I am in love. Like I'm so mad. I'm so mad they're releasing this one weekly.
I know. It's so frustrating because like we might have already been finished with it if we hadn't if this weren't the case.
I am a little bit glad because I think I actually think the binging shows does them a bit of a disservice.
I think it can.
They have proven, and I think I might have said this in our intro, I can't quite remember, but they have proven that like psychologically you retain more information when you're watching it weekly than when you do in a binge.
Yeah.
And so I think it could end up being better and it keeps the show in the consciousness for a longer period of time as opposed to just dominating one weekend.
Right.
So I think ultimately it probably is a better move. I'm just mad that I don't get to just completely bathe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, but I mean, 7 weeks from now, I'm sure I'll feel differently about it.
Yeah, I am so fascinated with what they're doing with so much of this. I cannot wait to see where we're going to go with Deep. I mean, we haven't even mentioned, Butcher is my least, and this is not a bad thing. Like, I don't dislike him, but it's like, he's my least favorite character anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nothing against Carl Urban, but you have to you have to kind of accept the Carl Urban of it all and then make your peace.
That storyline isn't the reason why I'm watching the show.
So,
you know what I mean?
It's like, I do think the storyline is going to be slightly different now because he thought that they killed his wife and now he knows his wife is alive. And I think he's coming at the same thing, which is that the superheroes need to be, like brought into the light or whatever. But I think he's going to be coming at it from a different perspective now, which could be better for his character.
But Frenchie and Mother's Milk, I'm like so invested. I don't remember Frenchie being that hot.
No, yeah, he was
hotter.
No,
I mean, they were all hot.
Yeah, he definitely was that hot. I am really anxious for Kimiko to get the ability to speak. because she's very good at it. Just and again, like I said, because the show
this show is littered with good female characters.
Littered with good female characters. In which case, this one is allowed to have to be silent, and you can tell that she doesn't want to be silent. But it does. I do every time we go back to her. I'm like, what is it going to take to get her to talk? Because I want it. I want it to happen.
Well, and because like Maeve was hardly in this episode, so yeah. I mean, I was writing a couple of talking points down, but then, like I said, I was enjoying it so much that I just started watching it.
Yeah.
So let me see. I think I touched on everything I wanted. Fucking Starlight singing at the funeral. It was. I love her trampy costume. I was telling you yesterday that they're going to release. They're going to release Pop toys.
Oh, God.
And the ones I want are Homelander and Starlight, but I want her like trampy one.
I mean, of course. It's hilarious.
I want a Homelander doll so bad. I like want this. I want them to do it. Like
the thing is like I think it would be really good stylistically, but they will not be able to do the face.
They won't be able to get his eyes.
They won't be able to get the eyes so dead. It's like oh man. His
Him
performance.
Drinking the milk.
Okay.
It was revolting and arousing at the same time.
So here's the thing. I don't find anything distasteful about breast milk. But
she's dead.
But she's dead. And that was the creepiest, grossest thing I've ever seen.
The way he quivered.
It was just, and then he got caught by Ashley, and I just like, oh man,
it's so good. Okay, so I'm gonna watch the next one.
Okay, all right, let's go.
Oh, sorry, that took me a minute. I had a little snafu midway through. I decided I wanted some macaroni, some buttered macaroni. And so I was cooking it as I am wont to do. And I went to the bathroom and I came out and the kitchen was on fire. So,
oh my God.
I put the wooden spoon across the pot and it fell off right onto the grill or onto the burner.
Okay. Yeah. Everything's good though?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Not like a real fire.
No. There was flame. There was flame involved, but it's good. It's good. So that was that. So this was episode 2. Okay, what's going on with the boys? Because they're my least favorite aspect of the TV show, The Boys.
So there basically is like a super terrorist running around. And we found out more about that in this episode. And essentially what has happened now is that Billy the Butcher has found the like CIA lady who was, or she used to be CIA or something. She was working with Jennifer Esposito. And he made a deal that if he catches the super terrorist, then he gets his wife to see his wife again.
Okay.
Like they'll tell him where she is so
and
he can go to her.
Trapped under the dome or something.
It does feel like a very Truman Show type of situation. Yeah, it's like a very, something's happening. So, but then as we found out, the super terrorist is actually Kimiko's brother.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched both those episodes and saw no correlation between.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said something in episode 1 about how he looked like he was Asian. He could be from like such and such places. And he was wearing like the cheap clothes.
So he's the one that threw the boat onto the street for human trafficking stuff.
Yeah. And that's what Kimiko was trying to tell Frenchie.
Okay.
It's like, I'm the girl and he's the boy. And she kept saying boy, boy, boy. And he didn't understand. And that's when he was like, oh, she was trying to tell me he's her brother.
Because we like to watch things with subtitles. And there was a subtitle that was particularly funny. And I don't remember the action it was describing.
Oh, was it not female crying?
Yeah.
It
was that one.
Because Will and I both commented on it too. Because Kimiko was crying like with her brother, and it just said female crying in the I was like, all right, man.
I'm more of a male crier myself, but and that's why Butcher's ass is chapped about. Okay, I totally I'm there now.
Because Huey like knocked him over when he was gonna shoot Kimiko's brother, and because don't shoot Kimiko's brother. Then he got all pissy, and then everybody, Frenchie and Mother's Milk, were both like, no, dude, we're not with you anymore. You haven't been here.
So, okay. So going to an entirely different show that is unrelated whatsoever to what is going on here. The Deep did mushroom, like tea, ayahuasca something. And
okay, I'm losing my mind because it's Patton Oswalt. It's Patton Oswalt's voice.
Is the voice of his gills.
I literally couldn't breathe. It was so funny. I was laughing so hard. I couldn't handle it.
It's really interesting. I started to say this in the first episode and we kind of trailed off, but it's like, I know people were a little bit like, because we're introduced to the Deep as a rapist. And we were kind of like, what are we going to do with this character? Because he's very easy, at least for someone like me. He's very likable.
Well, and also he's walking around in Chase Crawford's face and body. It's obviously really easy to be like, he can't be that bad. But obviously, you know.
Him like looking at his gills in the mirror, like actually looking at them was just such a specific, like, erotic fiction.
You're gonna get some Tina Belcher freaky friend fiction.
Yeah. Oh God. But it's like I do like this because, you know, you and I talk a little bit about it where it's like we're definitely in a, you know, hashtag time's up, hashtag me too place right now. And we need to be. However, this is a conversation that I think does need to be had. And unfortunately, I think the conversation is more involved than just yes, no, black, white, good, bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so we're sort of like exploring how the Deep got to this place where he treats people this way. And women specifically. Yes. But. Yeah. And so it's interesting. I don't know, because there's also what we saw. He came on to, he made a pass at Starlight in the first episode and stuff. Yeah. But it just I think it's interesting. I think it's a little bit more nuanced than just a redemption arc. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I don't necessarily. Until we get a little bit more, I'm not sure I would even call it a redemption arc yet. But I think what is so interesting, like you said, is trying to come to grips with why he is the way he is. And, you know, for a lot of these superheroes, it's all a very unseen thing that like gives them their powers. Like that it's not visible.
What is the Tumblr post? I have been trying to remember this for like 3 weeks now, but it was like the screenshot from X2 where Rogue is like, she like wants to change her power and Storm is like, there's nothing wrong with any of us for that matter. Yeah. And someone was like, says the woman who can create thunderstorms. And so underneath it was like Johnny Knives for hands. Yeah. And then it was like, there's nothing wrong with us, said like Adam Two Dicks or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Where it's like the Deep's like superhero situation is, and I mean, it's because he never takes his suit off that you don't actually see it. But like, it's a physical manifestation in a way that the rest of them are just walking around looking like regular people on the street. They can disappear into it. He can't do that. And so that is the type of thing where like, if he had this from childhood, then obviously at some point in middle or high school, he got made fun of hard and then just like never trusted anyone again. It was like, well, they're going to be dicks to me, so I'm going to be dicks to them first.
There's also,
like, that's understandable to an extent.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I feel like it's dicey. I feel like I could say something wrong or be interpreted the wrong way.
Just remember, we're talking about fictional characters, not real life.
No. But I think this is an element of the character that there's something, in my opinion, vaginal about his gills.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think there's further layers that we're dealing with, and I'm trying to determine whether or not it's just sort of like implied or the show actually is aware, like that there's further commentary.
So I think there's definitely further commentary, but I remember in season 1 that he brought some girl back to his place in wherever he was in Ohio, but it hurt him to have them touched that way. So
finger banging them. Yeah.
To get fingered in the gills. So I feel like there probably is some commentary there, but I wouldn't necessarily like push it too far into like a transgender conversation.
No, I don't think that. I don't think that at all. I think more from like a like an internalized misogyny, internalized homophobia. Like I feel like he has something that makes him feel vulnerable in a feminine way, and so he acts out
in a masculine way, in an overtly masculine way.
I mean, I think it would be difficult to not have something like a prosthetic like gills to not look sexual.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah. They feel very like sex organs.
They do. But I think that also could lead into the conversation too, because the fact that it does cause him pain to have something put there without his permission, I think is definitely commentary.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot happening with this story, and I think it's something that the show is really excelling with, because there you can watch it on the surface level where it's just like crazy sort of debaucherous things happening.
Yeah.
But I think if you actually really pick it apart, not only does it hold up to the scrutiny, but I think it gets better.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because, no, you're totally right. Because on the surface level, this show is just amazing, regardless.
Behaving badly. Yeah.
Yeah, like surface level, it's so fun to watch. It's so crazy. It's so zany. And then when you're like, well, I bet if I look at it closer, it's going to sort of fall apart. And you look at it closer and you're like, actually, this is so well done.
It gets tighter. Yeah. It's like, imagine if like True Blood had like social and political commentary. And I mean, it came out of the gate with like a heavy-handed, but that fell by the wayside.
Yeah.
And so I'm super into it. Stormfront, I was unprepared for her.
Okay. In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way.
Okay.
When I saw her in the promotional stuff, I was kind of like, who is this chick they're going to thrust upon us? And it's just the kind of thing where it's like, I could have never imagined that she was going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's so funny. And I think we just witnessed Annie sort of like finally get her bearings in this organization. Like we witnessed her finally sort of like get her feet on the ground. And then here comes this other bitch to completely knock her on her ass.
Well, I would also argue too, though, that Annie has not actually got her feet under her. She was just like towing the party line in a way because she didn't want to get, swept away in a sense. But this episode, you're right, did really, I think this episode put her feet under her because she had that really good couple of moments with Stormfront, and then she had those couple of excellent moments with A-Train, especially the one in her apartment. So good.
There is something that I love. I mean, I've never really been there, in my personal life, but there is something I love about like going bare bones, like not necessarily Full Dark No Stars, but she reached a point where she was like, look, we could die, so let's go ahead and stop talking around the lines. Like
exactly.
At a certain point, fine, go ahead and kill me. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it was wild too, because that we obviously are gonna spend more time on the female characters on the show because they're amazing. But that's something that I like about the male characters on this show is how they react when they're outclassed. Because it happened to Homelander in episode 1 with Edgar. You know that he wanted to burn his brains out in his office, but like everybody knew he was in there. So it's like, I don't think Giancarlo Esposito is like in this show for the long run, but he couldn't do it right there. And he knew he was outclassed because he was like, you are not our main income source. We're a pharmaceutical company, bitch. Shut up. And that was kind of amazing. And then in this episode with A-Train, when Annie was like, I know things about you too. I'm not the only one with secrets, and if you want to bring me down with you, by all means. And he kind of looked at her like he was not expecting that, which I think is so brilliant because of how I think that's how she's able to do it, is because she toes the party line so well, like in the public eye, and then behind the scenes, I think he was not expecting her to be so jaded.
What happened? I needed to watch the last episode of season 1.
Yeah.
What happened with her and A-Train? I don't remember. Do you?
So I said the same thing because I looked at Will and I was like, why is this scene weird? When he like first showed up, I was like, I don't know why this is weird. And he was like, well, she put him in the coma.
Mm-hmm.
So like in episode 1, when she went to the hospital to like check on someone, it was him.
Okay.
And it was because she did it when she was helping Huey escape.
Okay.
So, and he remembers and he knows that.
Okay.
It was be too much to ask for some amnesia, I guess.
Yeah. I just, yeah. The fucking, okay. It's hilarious. This is what the show is really excelling at too, is the press conference that the girls were doing.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because, you know, as people on the outskirts of the media, you know, we have an understanding of the media and how it works and all that. And it's like, all this stuff is good. Like girl power. Yay. Like thumbs up and all that. But I was watching the montage and just getting so angry.
So angry. Like nobody can think up an interesting, different question.
And them just like having to answer, and especially the one where Starlight Annie, where she was just like, let's just knock them all out. Let's just get them all done.
Let's just do it. Let's power through.
Because that is also, I think that's another thing that makes her special, is because you mentioned towing the party line. She's good at it. Mm-hmm. It's something she can do. It's something that I noticed with Anna Kendrick, where it was like back when she was doing press for Into the Woods, I watched her tell the same story like 6 different times. And every time she was able to tell it like it was a revelation. And I was like, oh, she goes into sort of like a protected mode and just like she turns into like an Anna Kendrick bot when it's time to promote. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, definitely.
It's wild to me how much the show is like actually accomplishing.
Well, it just feels so truthful to the real world. Like I know for 100% fact that if superheroes appeared for real tomorrow, this is how it would go. This is exactly how it would go.
Up to and including like, some of them being good. You know what I mean?
100%. Like, totally.
But, okay, so what the fuck is the Fresca?
I don't know, but it's making me want a Fresca. If it's just product placement, it's doing its job.
Also, I really like that Ryan, the boy, Homelander's son, clocked him.
What do you mean?
In that like bedroom, like when he was like, say goodnight and tell me like you love me and stuff.
Yeah.
Where he was like, we're gods, we can do whatever we want. And Ryan was like, ding, ding, ding. He was ding, like,
ding. Well, so also we are all agreed that Ryan is normal, right?
I mean, I thought so.
I don't think he has any powers.
Yeah.
At all.
And if he does, they're going to come out way later.
Yeah. So that's the thing, because Will thought the opposite, but I thought that Homelander was like hook, line, and sinker for the fact that he was born this way. Does he know that he's from the like serum?
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah.
I thought he truly believed he was born that way, and that's why he thinks that the kid can have powers. But it's like none of them have powers by rights.
It's it's fascinating having such a volatile lead.
Yeah.
It's like if Archie Andrews had power, you know. Yeah. It's like because there's stuff going on that they have to keep a secret from him. You know what I mean? And sometimes he knows way more than you think he's going to, and other times it's like, how is this under the radar? Like,
yeah. So that's what I can't remember from season 1. What was the actual deal with him? So, like if he knew or not.
While we're waiting for episode 4, let's maybe watch season 1 again.
Yeah, like we've got a couple of days.
I guess Maeve is fine.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I also think it was fine, but
you really liked Maeve last season.
I do.
Correct?
I do still really like Maeve, and
I think she has material coming.
I think she does, and that's the thing. That's why I actually really liked her little storyline in this episode, because we got her and this, ex-girlfriend a little bit last season, but it was all very angry, and like Maeve was just like a kicked puppy, and the girlfriend was really angry and bitchy, and we like couldn't figure out why. And now that Maeve has kind of put all of her cards on the table and is like, Homelander will literally melt your brain if he knows about you. That's why I can't do anything. I liked that. And I like seeing her out of the Queen Maeve persona. I think she's very interesting as a character, and I think she's the one that we know the least about her life outside of this.
Yeah, she's really good
She's very compartmentalized in a way that like makes her intriguing to me. No, not at all. Which that's an intriguing in its own way. But I'm really intrigued by Maeve because I don't know what's going on in her personal life because we haven't really seen it enough.
Because by all accounts, she is a decent person, as decent a person can be who is also participating in this.
Exactly.
It's so funny because it's like we've had several shows, like, for instance, the reboot of Penny Dreadful. Mm-hmm. We had a hard time because it was too close to home. I was like, I don't want to watch, politics and racial unrest and Nazis in my entertainment when it's like they're already on the news. And somehow this show is doing a lot of the same thing, but it's doing it in a way that I'm actually finding it therapeutic or cathartic.
I think it's partially to do with just like, first of all, this is a fantasy show. But it's also there was something alarming and icky and like in a very feel bad way about having to watch white Nazi and then
we're going to get Nazis
Mexican
in this.
migrant.
You know that, right?
Of course we're going to, but it's like the thing about Penny Dreadful is that the like Nazi and the Mexican migrant workers having riots in the streets with the like cops in Los Angeles. It just was like I was literally watching that on the news and then watching it in my entertainment. And that's too much. Like, that's too exactly what was I saw no difference except for the clothes. And this is so much more elevated in a way. And they're actually not really doing race-based stuff.
No, not really.
So
but
far.
What prompted me to bring up modern politics is that I was thinking of someone, I just referred to Maeve as someone decent. And I said, well, as decent as you can be to participate in this enterprise. And I feel that way about politicians because it's like we're gearing up to an election that will be the death of all of us. And it's like there's a lot of talk about how, well, they're all bad. And, everybody, they're corrupt on both sides and stuff. And I'm like, yes, I'm deeply, deeply aware that the current system is very, very, very flawed. But sometimes the only way to fix up something is by also participating in it. You know what I mean?
100%. 100%.
And so it's like, for me, it's like we don't have the ability to throw the baby out with the bathwater. So that makes a character like Maeve, who it's like, we could see her being a hero. We could see her pulling through in interesting ways. And frankly, I'm sure she'll let us down several times. You know what I mean?
Sure, but you're right, where it's like you can't pick and choose, really. You have to take the whole thing. And like when you have to accept the people like Homelander, you also get the people like Starlight and Maeve. Like none of it's great, but some good comes with the bad. And it's just a matter of like balancing it and choosing your battles where it's necessary.
It's the kind of thing that we just recently talked about in our Buffy coverage with the Thanksgiving episode. And I compared it to Into the Woods. And one of the reasons why I find Into the Woods to be so fascinating is because it's like we can wax poetic about like high grounds and moral thises and utopias that. But like at a certain point, reality is reality. And we have to use the tools we have to make the change we can.
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
It's like, Maeve could go off and decide that, on principle, she's going to create another, corporation and do it all the right way. And it's like,
sure, yeah.
Sometimes in order to get to that place, you have to start where you are. And
well, there's also no guarantee, though, that her situation would end up being incorruptible. It could end up being just as bad. I definitely agree with that.
So it's like I'm seeing a lot of, modern day. I'm seeing a lot of illusion in this in a way that I really enjoy.
Well, and I would even pull that into the Starlight part of it, where she has now, for seemingly a while, understood that she can, even though it sucks, and even though it's not why she wanted to be a superhero, and it's not why she wanted to be part of the Seven, she can do more help from inside by potentially harming Vought, the corporation, which is why she has gotten her creepy friend Gecko to get her a sample of...
invested in Gecko.
I am now too. I need him to be okay.
I am so invested in Gecko, and it just breaks my heart because I know that in the next episode, his head's going to get thrown on a table on Starlight's tacky apartment table.
Her apartment is so tacky. So tacky. I mean, I love it, but it's so tacky.
No, it's like, I just like, I'm at a place now where I'm like, the most honest people in the world that you'll meet are sex workers, and it's Little Girl with the Heart of Gold. And it's just kind of like, I like him and his poor eye. Like, So anyways, I want to say before we go that there is a companion show that I have not watched yet. I meant to watch it and I forgot both times. Mm-hmm. It is an after show that Aisha Tyler, a fave of ours, is hosting. Yeah. So I'm going to give that a watch.
Okay.
And there are special features. I think deep down, Amazon Prime is my favorite.
It might be
the best interface.
That's true. That's definitely true.
You hit pause. It tells you who's in the scene. So you know who the actor is, who the character is, what other shit they've been in, the song that's playing, the trivia, if there's a piece of trivia for it. I literally there was a button and it said go to the shop. And I was like, the shop? What does that mean? I clicked on it. It pulled up Amazon on my TV where the Pop Toys I just told you about were sitting right there. I put them in my cart and hit send. They're on their way to my front door.
Nice. Although that is, I mean, that's pretty alarming in like a Skynet situation, like type of way.
You gotta lean in, Kristen. We just talked about this.
I don't know. I don't want to lean into Jeff Bezos, our overlord.
Think about ways that we can rage against the machine from within.
From within the sweet, sweet comfort of said machine.
I added to my Twitter bio that I was part of the problem and solution since 1985.
Good deal.
So I wanted to watch some of that stuff, and I'll check back when we come back after episode 3 and let you know if I think it's required viewing.
Yay.
So cool.
All right, we'll be back.
Oh, I forgot this was already renewed.
Yeah, it's got a season 3 already.
Yeah, that's such an unfamiliar feeling these days.
Yeah, lately we've been burned a lot lately.
Sense of, but I don't trust it. I'm like,
I feel like they're gonna cancel it right now.
Well, they're going all in. I cannot remember if I said this as we were closing out or after we had already closed the last episode. Did I mention the Aisha Tyler after show?
You did, yes.
Okay, so I watched it. It's fun. It's hardly must see, but I enjoy Aisha Tyler's antics, and it's got a set, and it's always one behind the scenes and then 2 or 3 actors.
Cool.
That call in. So like the first episode, the creator had called in, and then this most recent one that I watched, it was Karen Fukuhara and I do not remember his name, but the Black Noir.
Oh yeah, okay.
He is so hot because we have not seen him.
We haven't seen his face. He's in that outfit all the time.
He's got like a Prince Charming face. And, oh my God, he's so hot. And he actually, Nathan Mitchell, he actually goes very deep. He has very deep, passionate feelings about the character of Black Noir.
I'm for it. He does have a Prince Charming face. Holy moly.
Did you pull him up?
I did. Good Lord. Yeah.
And then
let's get the mask off Black Noir.
And then it was like 2 of the writers and stuff. So it's fun. It's behind the scenes things. It's very much the actors talking about their characters and like fans, and they do little comedy bits, and there's like they'll explain some of the behind the scenes special effects stuff and all that. And so cool. It's definitely fun, especially if you just like more. It's a typical after show.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be watching it, and if anything is worth mentioning, I'll bring it up. But
sounds good.
Yeah. So this episode,
before we get into it, I have to apologize because again, I was wrong. Two times in this episode. That feels like a lot of times for me to be wrong. I spoke like 45 minutes too soon about this not being horribly racist because we got there. We definitely got there. So I just wanted that noted before we get into it.
I was caught unaware.
I was too, although Will and I were talking a little bit during the episode And he was like, I would not be surprised if she turned out to be a Nazi. And I was like, why? And he was like, just look at her. And I was like, aesthetically, you're correct. She does look a little bit like a Nazi. And then she was just horribly racist.
It took me longer than it should have.
Me too.
To get there.
Well, and that's even on top of Homelander rolling his eyes to the heavens when his son was trying to speak Spanish at the breakfast table.
So, okay, well, we navigated there. Him throwing the kid off the roof.
I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. I was like, this kid is getting thrown off of something. Because I thought they were like up on a cliffside or something.
Well, I knew it was going to happen because it was in the trailer, but they conspicuously cut it. Like, they cut it short. So when he actually face planted, I was like, oh my God. And because I would believe that they would just kill that kid at this point.
Sure. And if I'm being honest, I'm a little bit disappointed that he has powers.
No, the way they were going about, I can't remember what I said, but the way they were going about it, I was like,
he has to.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were leaning too into us doubting it.
Okay. That's fair.
This point of the show. So he has to. And it just, no, I was there. I thought he was going to, and I like it. So Homelander, this might surprise you. It might not, I don't know, but it's early to say, but he's mirroring trajectory-wise Queen Cersei for me.
Like how much you like him?
Yeah, I love, Queen Cersei is one of my favorite characters, and it just Homelander's right there with me. I love him so much. And I understand he's a bad person.
No, yeah, but he is fascinating. Like super duper fascinating.
And I love how just arrogant he was about the fact that the kid, I love when he's right, he's right.
Yeah.
And it's and I also love that it's 3 out of 5, probably more like 4 out of 5 times he knows, but then there is that 5th time where he actually is just oblivious about something that keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he has to know about Elena now with Maeve. He really clocked it.
I am not 100% sure, but I don't feel good about Elena's chances regardless.
Mm-hmm. And I like it because the kid that plays this, Ryan, I think the kid's name is, the kid that plays the son is the one from Big Little Lies.
Yeah, one of the twins.
Or, yeah, probably they're old enough that they don't have to. Are they?
What?
They might be switching. I didn't look to see if the both of them were playing.
They're not fully identical.
Okay.
You can tell the difference. I think it's just one of them.
Okay.
Because they were playing twins in Big Little Lies, so they were always on screen at the same time.
Yeah.
They weren't swapping out.
I loved when he told off Homelander too. It just
amazing. It was amazing. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I guess we can go back to Stormfront, even though it ended there. But I didn't think we were done with her brother.
Me neither. I'm really bummed. Unless it's the type of thing where he's not really dead, but they were pretty excited about it having been finished. I'm really bummed about Kimiko's brother, and she is pissed about it. So
and she was. What did you say? The actress's name? Stormfront.
Her name's Aya Cash.
Yeah, she was so good in that.
So
scene.
Good,
and just the how easily it came to her, because I actually had to flip it back, because like I said, it literally wasn't until she called him yellow that I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? And I went back and I was like, I don't know how I missed all of this, because I think it was just registering as chaos to me.
Well, it was. I don't know that it's something necessarily that you missed, because I don't think it's
well, she intentionally kills the black family. I went back and watched it again, she did it to the dad, and then he runs out and runs away, and she stays in there, and you hear stuff. Yeah. So it's she did it for fun in a way that I just didn't clock the first time we were doing this. And I want to know where we're going with it. I want to know what her end game is.
I do really now enjoy this power play between her and Homelander.
Oh my God, it's so good.
That is going to be, because they're both just horrible people.
Mhm.
And I think that is going to be really interesting, trying to figure out which one of them lands on top, because he is like, I don't know, he's like less overtly like terrible in that way.
Well, I was
but
going
they're
to say
both
more.
so
she's
bad.
She's stealthier than he. I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
I guess maybe he's able to like wrangle his image better, because she doesn't really care about her image, as we've seen. And so he is like, you know, truth and justice in the American way.
We are the only ones that saw this go down. Like, the other members of the Seven didn't see
that's true too.
This stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So that's where I'm curious
tough.
where this is going.
Yeah, definitely.
The boys aspect of the boys, they were trying to turn in Kimiko's brother to that woman, Grace, maybe something
the
or other.
CIA. It was she's with the CIA.
And also, which a bit of trivia, the edible arrangement at Jennifer Esposito's funeral was from Butcher, because she said she would send an edible arrangement to his funeral.
I don't remember that, but that's really funny.
She made some comment. She was like, I'll be sure to send you an edible arrangement for your funeral.
I just love that he like said the whole name of it with white chocolate covered pineapple doves. It was really funny.
But yeah, so they were going to turn him in, and then because I guess I was kind of tuning in and out a little bit, because like, how did the FBI get involved, and then how did
it wasn't
Beep
the
get
FBI,
involved?
it was the NYPD.
Okay, NYPD.
But I was really
right.
They stole the boat, but the NYPD had no jurisdiction because they were 3 miles out. That's international waters. So I was like frustrated with that, because the NYPD, New York has no jurisdiction over international waters. But they also, it seemed like they weren't moving along very fast, because they were trying to get him to Langley, which is in Virginia. So like, why were they still close enough to New York? I don't know. That was like a little bit frustrating for me, that whole part, because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. It feels like a problem just to create a problem so that we can have this like hilarious set piece. But I mean, it ended up fine.
Well, and then where did the deep come from? Because the other thing that happened in this episode was the Compound V got out. So it was
got leaked. Yeah, it got leaked. And information about it got leaked. So basically, the deep was, they like showed him, I think they either showed him about the terrorist, or they showed him about the Compound V, or they showed him about both. The churchy people, the Scientology people.
Who, it's Susan Bunch from Friends.
It is Susan from Friends. And so he was like, okay, I gotta go. And I feel like he had to have found out about something like that the boys had the terrorists, had Kimiko's brother. And so that's when he was like, I'm going to get them, and that'll be my way back in. Because that's what they were trying to, that's what they were trying to get him to do anyway, is find his way back in.
I love this show, and I hope and plan to continue loving it, but it does hurt my feelings sometimes, because that thing with just the deep talking about being a kid and hearing the goldfish begging for their lives, I was like, I don't need this existential crisis every time I go to...
Here's the thing for me, because I agree with you, and that is true, but also, I cannot get over how inept he is. He is the most inept superhero. And as horrible and tragic as it is that he keeps killing these sea creatures, it is also deeply hilarious. Because they just keep getting killed in more and more insane, crazy ways.
It was so... Oh God! It was, and I related. I was Huey, where he just was like ready to lay down and die inside of the whale's stomach. Like,
I loved it too.
And I don't know where this like thing with Mother's Milk came from, where the two of them are like bonded.
So I think it was
Butcher
stuff we didn't see. Yeah, I think it was stuff we didn't see in between season 1 and season 2. Because it's implied that like months happened in between, and he and Mother's Milk and Frenchie have like created a little unit, and that's why like they were ready to like let Butcher go and stay with Huey when when Butcher got really mad at Huey.
Mhm.
I think the three of them are this cute little unit now, and like I dig it so much.
Mhm. Yeah, there was a lot that happened. I don't know, but I don't know what any of it means, because Homelander has, effectively figured out and called Starlight's bluff with Huey. So it's like he knows that she has feelings for him now.
Yes, but I also think it was a larger test than that. Like, I think now he knows she can't kill someone.
Okay.
And I think that
I think she can. I think it...
Well, I think she can too.
Yeah.
I think he thinks she can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you think... Okay, so you don't think he made the Huey connection. You think it was the...
I think it might have been a
Both.
Little from column A, a little from column B.
Okay.
But I think the one test was like, if you're not involved with him, kill him. And I think the other test was kill a person while I'm telling you to, or else I don't know that you can be a team player. Because it's sort of like, you remember in season 1 when he was like...
I don't.
Well,
I need to go back and watch it. Because did she kill someone at the end of the season?
No.
What does her power do?
No. When he and Maeve were on that plane.
No, Homelander, but I meant Starlight.
No, I understand, but my point is that he needs to know that she can kill a person. And that's like what he did. Like, he needs to know he can control her like he can control Maeve to make her leave the plane. And I don't think he knows he can do that yet. But also it gets into the thing where, like, now is he really at the top of the pyramid anymore because Stormfront is there? And it's like he's like losing his power by inches at this point. And
that's wild, watching that happening in real time.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
She's absolutely powerful, but it's like plenty of them are. And she's winning by not caring. It goes back to that thing that's like, I hard learned a lesson a few years ago. And I think I truly took it with me, where I was like, people will sink their own ships. You just got to get out of their way long enough to let them do it. Yeah. And she's throwing him into crisis. You know what I mean? And it's
for sure. Well, and he's certainly not psychologically capable of dealing with, disappointment or rejection or anything like that. So like with his son and the mother rejecting him, and then like the team's going to reject him. Maeve's not telling him secrets. He can't get Starlight to like kill someone. All this stuff. It's like, it's going to definitely expound, and he's going to lose it at some point this season.
Out. Yeah, wow.
Absolutely. Poor Lucy.
Oh my God.
Poor Lucy the whale.
On the...
And then Butcher called him Pinocchio.
So on the after show, they do a segment every episode called Thoughts and Prayers. Where they give their thoughts and prayers for another character. And so... Nathan Mitchell, Black Noir, gave his thoughts and prayers to Lucy the whale, and he said that he would find her babies and take care of them.
Oh, no.
And also because they talked about the scene of him sobbing in the hallway after the news of the Compound V broke. And so Aisha Tyler asked him what he was crying about, and he said that it was a misconception that everyone thinks he was crying about the Compound V. Nathan said that actually he just got to like episode 17 of season 5 of Smallville. Where whatever Kent dies, and that's what was happening.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's true or not. It's one of the things that it's like
that's hilarious.
So so there's that.
I love how much fun the actors feel like they're having with the like it, because it feels like that they're just able to have a lot of fun.
Oh my God, because the one before she had Aya Cash on, and Aisha Tyler was talking about Vought being like a corporation and stuff. And so she was asking them, like before you were living your actor's dream, did you ever have to work for a corporation? And Aya Cash was like, I don't remember how she phrased it, but she was like, yeah, no, definitely. We don't work for a corporation now here on Amazon Prime. Like,
hilarious.
It's like, because there's a point where it's a little too much. Like it's art imitating life, imitating art. Like,
definitely.
But so it's been fun. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, I don't love not having the instant gratification of the next episode, but I do think in the long run it'll probably benefit the show having it this way. And I
Probably. I think you're probably right.
I am not hating having something that will last, that will extend for several
something to
weeks.
look forward to.
Yeah.
Especially because it's the type of thing where, like, right now where, you know, things haven't even finished filming or started filming for the new season because of the virus and everything. Like, we don't know how much longer we're going to be receiving new content at this point. So
And
I do like that we're 7 more weeks.
Apparently they blew through production. They were done filming last fall. And so Karen Fukuhara was talking about how they couldn't have predicted that this would be airing now and how much more charged it would be. She was like, it was loaded when we filmed it, you know?
Definitely.
Like,
yeah, definitely.
And she was like, and now looking at it, she was like, I'm kind of like, but
same, girl.
Cool. Well, I think that we are going to, I don't remember if we said this, should I?
We did, yeah. Like we discussed, I think at the beginning of the episode, we are going to be putting the remainder of the season's discussions weekly onto the Patreon. And I think we're going to put it down at the lowest tier, which we have set at $1, because we're still in the midst of making some changes to the Patreon right now to try to figure out exactly what we want to do. And we're not in the swing of things with like our video situation yet. So that's still a work in progress. But if you feel compelled to listen to us talk about the rest of the season of The Boys, it'll be there for $1 or whatever you choose in your generous hearts to donate to us.
Yeah, we love you. We need you. And whatever you can do helps
spare.
us do this.
Can you spare a square?
Alms for the poor.
Alms for the poor. But yeah, so that's where you can find that. And we'll be posting about it every week, probably Sundays or Mondays, I'd probably imagine, depending on how we get our act together every week. Mm-hmm. But they will be there and we will let you know. And then other than that, you can follow us on Twitter at So I'm Watching, Instagram at So I'm Watching This Show. We also have the website, soimwatching.com, which links out to everything. And as we've said before, we are in the process of getting the YouTube up and ready. Our first official video episode will be out on October 2nd. There's currently a poll on the Twitter to see which movie you want us to do, and The Craft is currently winning. So
which is which?
which is which? But yeah, The Craft is currently winning, so that will probably most likely be our first video episode if you are at all interested. And then other than that, you can just rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you listen. And that's it for us. Bye.